What's up, fanboys and fangirls? Welcome back to another spoiler review. This time we're talking about Us. My name is Luke.
I'm Tyler.
And I'm Brett.
And we're here to talk about the greatest movie or the worst movie, depending on who you are. Probably not the worst movie of all time. So I guess let's just jump straight into it. Full spoilers. What do you guys think about Us?
I like this movie a lot.
Like how much? A lot? No.
Like measurables.
Like out of inches.
Like out of inches? This is 13 out of 12 inches.
It sounds so much worse. Oh my gosh, that was a terrible system to use.
Okay, I give it a 10 out of 12 inches.
I'll give it 11 out of 12 just for gigs.
Guys, I think we found it. Okay, we can't do this right
New
now.
rating system.
Oh my gosh.
No, I really enjoyed the movie as well. I am excited to kind of dive into it and hear what you guys thought, though.
I really enjoyed it too. Actually, when I first got out, I thought it was okay, but I had to think about it more because kind of when Tyler was talking in our episode when we were doing just non-spoilers, he's like, my expectations were kind of wrong when I went in. Like, it had a really big effect on what I thought about the movie. Yeah. Which is not fair to this movie at all.
No. Right.
And so, like, after really thinking about it and seeing what these characters and everybody was doing, I was like, yeah, this movie's freaking good.
Yeah, it's really good. I had listed my expectations as a con in our spoiler-free review because of that. I kind of felt like I went into the movie with the wrong lens. I still enjoyed it a lot. I still thought it was really good. But just when I took a step back and kind of took off my glasses and was like, okay, if I separate this from Get Out, this movie's amazing.
Yeah.
It's really good and it has a lot to say. And I'm excited to hear your guys' theories and thoughts on what took place.
Should we start with the big one?
Sure.
Which is that I don't remember her character name, Lupita's character name.
I don't either.
To the internet.
One is Red.
Red is the shadow self. But anyways,
is it Adelaide?
Or wait, is Red the?
Is it Adelaide?
Yes.
Yep.
Adelaide, Gabe, and then the kids were Zora and Jason.
All right, so Adelaide.
Zora, that's a dope name.
It's Adelaide and Red.
And Red are actually switched. How do we feel about that twist?
I thought it was really cool, but I also kind of just knew from the beginning.
Yeah.
I called it at the beginning, and then I thought Jordan Peele did a really good job
start to walk it back a little bit.
Yeah, of getting me to walk it back.
So
if she was really Red from the Shadow Realm, she wouldn't have, but, yeah.
So I was like, oh, they switched places at the very beginning. And then I was very, very confident at that moment. The only part that got me to waver was when she's talking to Gabe in the bedroom after they get home from the beach. And she's like, I just feel like this dark cloud is over me and I need to get away from here.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, maybe not. But then later you see her kind of do the tick, I'll call it, that all of the jumpsuits were doing. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay.
You call them jumpsuits too?
Yeah.
Yes.
I was like, yeah, it's definitely her. Like, they switched places.
Yeah. I thought what really gave it away was it was another flashback, and it was Yaya and Anna Diop talking to a counselor, and the mother, Anna Diop, says, I want my daughter back.
Yep.
And I was like,
yeah,
that's kind of weird.
Like, obviously the scene itself when the little girl, they see each other in the mirror building. Mm-hmm. But then that flashback scene, I was like, yep.
Yeah,
they switched places.
Yeah.
Good writing, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Way to just tell us.
Yep.
But but no, I think the other dead giveaway is that none of the other jumpsuits can talk except for Red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, she's kind of forgotten how to talk, because if you don't communicate with people for a long time, you kind of lose that skill.
And she was young enough that
that
would have affected
her development for sure.
But it kind of leads into something that is kind of just a minor thing. Whenever she talked or the other jumpsuits were like communicating, it made me laugh. Like when what's the opposite of Gabe's? Abraham. Is talking. He's going. This is like, no, dude. Just be the silent killer, bro. You know. It's like, oh man. And then she talks, and it's just like.
There's moments where it sounds really good, and then there's moments where you're like,
it was way rougher at the beginning, and it's a lot better at the end.
Yeah.
Because she's been communicating with people again.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really like, it's just kind of like, oh, okay.
Yeah, the first time she has like her monologue, you're like, oh, this is going to take a long time to get through.
Yeah.
This is a little bit like speaking from Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yeah.
I thought you were like not finishing
Int
your
meetings can take a long time when you speak Intish. It's like, yeah, we can probably guess that, bro.
What did you guys think of Jason versus Pluto? And just that whole dynamic? Because they seemed the most grounded, I felt like.
They also were... It also felt like they were the most tethered. Mm-hmm. I mean, they call themselves the tethered, but they obviously can operate independently of the surface dwellers. The real people versus the soulless people. I don't know what to call them. Anyways.
The jumpsuits.
Like, they seem to have way more of a connection than anyone else, which I thought worked really well. I thought Pluto's design was actually one of my favorites. His mask was super creepy, very evocative of classic horror film, and then his burn scars. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
his burn scars I thought were a clever way of keeping him like quiet. They don't, outside of grunts and whatnot, they don't typically talk anyways, other than Red. But
the only thing that confuses me about Pluto is that he moves like a dog.
Yeah.
And I don't know why.
His name's Pluto.
Right. I mean, that's the obvious answer, right? But, no, you look at everyone else and they function and move just like, for the most part, just like normal people.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say they function like who they're tethered to.
Right. And Jason's like the most normal in the family.
Yeah, and Adelaide and Red both did ballet.
Mm-hmm.
So, maybe it's because
the mask.
I don't know. Maybe it's because he's crawled around like a baby. I don't know, and he just got stuck like that.
Well, and that's maybe one of my. I hate to say con, because again, I don't think
minor grievance,
because I don't know if this is a movie that you really should dig too much into.
You don't need to explain it. Right.
You can't take it too literally, because there are things that don't make sense in terms of how. Even children of clones would be essentially clones of
clones, or children of clones are those clones,
right? Genetically, that's not actually possible.
Is that how the genetic makeup gene pool works?
So then at that point, you're probably talking something more metaphysical or spiritual, and the movie certainly doesn't get into that.
So I actually want to go off that real quick.
Yeah,
I was expecting something supernatural, and this confused the heck out of me.
Yeah.
And she's talking about a cloud, and she's so confused by things she's seen. She sees Jeremiah 11:11 twice, and the clock's at 11:11, and it just is nothing. And I was just like, oh, I thought I was gonna be something more. I thought this movie was gonna go supernatural.
Yeah.
And it
doesn't really
at all. It
goes science.
They showed the clock, and then that's never addressed again. And
I think the clock is, again, just a metaphorical symbolism of duplicates. 11:11.
Okay.
1111.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, make a wish.
I was waiting for that to be said. The whole movie, I was like, somebody's got to say make a wish, right?
Because you're right. Because when we looked up Jeremiah 11:11, other than it being a doomsday-esque verse...
Yeah.
It doesn't really apply to the plot of this movie at all, or the subplots of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I would agree that, I do kind of wish that there had been a supernatural...
I think it could have been really
metaphysical twist that really, it doesn't need to explain everything, but it just needs to make that explanation not necessary.
Right.
Because when it comes down to it's a failed government experiment
where they cloned everybody.
Where they literally cloned everyone, like that the suspension of disbelief that you're asking me to have is really pushed to the limits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now again, I think the movie is good enough to and the point of it isn't to embrace that there's this alter reality where the government made clones. The point of the movie is not for us to accept that worldview. The point of the movie is to get us to ask questions about who are we as a society, what does the darkness inside of us look like?
Yeah. And that, like, one of the cons I have written down, sorry, I know we were kind of talking about pros, I think, starting off.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
I wrote down confusing yet predictable, and that saying alone doesn't make any sense to me.
Kind of contradictory.
But it's like, there'd be moments where I'm like, what the heck? Like, how there's clones of everybody, and it's like, what?
Yeah.
But then, like, at the same time, at the very beginning, I didn't like how there was pretext tag of there's a bunch of
is one of the
tunnels and caverns underneath the United States that have been abandoned, and then they revealed that there's more clones besides this one family,
right?
And I was like, oh, it's everybody.
Yeah.
And I was right.
Yeah. He gives away a lot of the movie in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Whether that was intentional or not, I don't know. Maybe he thought, like, Get Out was too smart and tried to, like, walk that back and dumb it down a little bit. I don't know. But, yeah, the pretext, like, I don't know. I thought it was kind of dumb.
And kind of off that, I think I do really like this movie, but I think hindsight 2020, it would have been better if he would have tried to keep it smaller scale and focused on this one family having these 4 doppelgangers and terrorizing them. Like, I think that would have been really interesting.
I did really, so devil's advocate, I really liked it when, what were they? Kitty and Josh, when all of a sudden their doppelgangers showed up, because I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah.
Because I expected it to be this just like group.
Really small group,
like, all of a sudden when they're just in the house with them, I'm like, what the is going on?
Yeah, but and that was really cool. And those twin girls,
the twins are the scariest part.
They were freaky looking, doing all their Harley Quinn handsprings. But then every single person has one, and I was like, come on.
It just, again, it goes back to
at least in America.
It goes back to what Brett was saying, and it asks you to suspend belief on, I think, too large a scale.
Yeah, it's a really big ask.
Yeah, like you're asking us to believe that the government created clones of every single person, even people that were born after that year, like when it was technically proposed.
And then those clones had children
that
are essentially exactly the same as the children. Like,
right.
You cannot make that happen. Like, it's just not possible.
But again, it's a movie, you know.
Yeah. And again, that's not the point of the movie. That's not the point the movie's trying to make.
That's just a storytelling
definitely.
tool.
That's just me being.
It is literally just a plot device.
That's just me being.
Another con.
Overly.
I do have
grumpy. I don't know.
I felt like some of the comedy was misplaced.
Yeah.
There are some scenes where I don't feel like comedy is necessary. Namely the moment, the kill count moment, like when they're trying to get in the car and like they're arguing about who's gonna drive.
Like, no, just drive away.
Yeah, get in the car. I'm leaving you. Like that's it. I will drive off.
Yeah.
And I just felt like that it just went on too long. I could get it like after you start driving if you want to do that, but not while things are going to crap around you.
That was really the only moment I feel like that it really stood out. I can't really remember any others. Which kind of...
I thought everything with the boat was really funny and well done.
Yeah.
And well set up, too.
Indeed.
Like with the left turn stuff
and the auto, like cutting off and randomly going on its own.
Yeah.
No, it was set up really well.
Kind of off that, I thought Jordan Peele did an awesome job of balancing, for the most part, except for like that kind of instance, but balancing a more intense movie tone, but still putting really good comedy into it.
And I mean, he's gonna do that.
Like the beginning, I felt like, especially with the dad. He's so funny.
Oh, he's so Winston
funny,
Duke
man.
is great.
Yeah,
he's great. I really, really liked him.
We talked a little bit how none of us really liked the very first shot of this movie, which was the
opening
text.
tag.
I actually also don't really like the final shot of this movie.
What was it? The helicopters?
The helicopters, and then
the hand
holding across America. I get what it's coming from, and I think I understand what it's trying to symbolize, but I don't. It's a little bit like the end of Wonder Woman when
everyone
starts hugging. It's like, I don't need the 2x4 across my face. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
You keep it subtle.
So what do you think the meaning of that final shot is? I just want to know if yours is different than my thoughts.
I think it's even in our darkness, we have to come together to keep the country or a society strong.
I took it as, if we don't come together, we're going to kill ourselves.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's,
both of those work for me.
To me, that's what this movie is about.
Yeah.
If we don't learn to work together, we're going to kill ourselves as a country.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is
and eat
all
rabbits.
You see in the news.
And eat rabbits. There was lots of rabbits.
Jordan Peele's scared of rabbits.
I know. And Lupita is afraid of butterflies. She's like, you don't know where they're going to land. It freaks me out. It's a great interview. My last pro is the cinematography.
Yeah. Very well shot.
Very well shot. Specifically in the opening scene on the pier, it goes what's her name? Adelaide, and then it goes to her parents. And it's always her right in the middle, and then it flips, and it's them both out on the edges. Mm-hmm. I just thought that was really cool, and it would switch with the color, kind of like it'd be gold shining this way, and then a different color kind of shining on her. Man, I thought it was. I was like, right off the bat, I was like, wow, that's really cool looking. And
there were a few really cool shots like that. I thought the shot with Jason's backing up to get Pluto to go into the fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. The fire shot with Pluto in it is dope. But also
really
when
good.
Jason comes back and then next to the car, you see Red kind of stand up like in the background and it's out of focus. And I was like, that's dope. Yeah. That was really well done.
Really well shot.
Yeah. I thought there were quite a few moments like that where you're just like, this looks nice.
Yep.
Yeah. Agreed. Luke mentioned in our non-spoiler review the soundtrack.
Yes. The soundtrack is so good.
Really, really good.
I know it's really early in the year, but I really hope that it can get a nomination nod because I really enjoyed it.
I think
it is Michael Abels. I don't know. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Who made it?
I'll have to listen to it over time. And
he also did the soundtrack to Get Out, and that's all he has on at least iTunes. So.
Must be Jordan Peele's boy.
Yeah. It's like, hey man, come make my music. It's like, okay. They made 2 dope soundtracks.
Yeah.
Is there anything else? I mean, we didn't cover some stuff because it's in our non-spoiler review.
Oh. Do you guys think it was satisfying for Adelaide to kill Red in the end? Because I think that can be something that could cause problems for people. I mean, one of them had to die, right?
Yeah.
It's interesting.
It hasn't.
I did not have a problem with it because
I thought it was fine.
Even though technically Adelaide is the clone, it's her family that she's protecting, and that's what a mother would do.
Right. Yeah. It doesn't make the action right, but it also, I mean,
it's what she would do.
Sorry.
It's also definitely what you do.
I have another question too. But
I'm gonna go back to cinematography so you can finish.
Okay.
This whole thing.
The other thing is throughout the movie, anytime Jason is gonna do something that requires courage or anything that could harm him, he pulls his mask down.
Yeah.
The last shot with the family is him pulling the mask down after staring at his mom because he knows that she's the clone.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the only one who's receptive enough to pick up on it because he's been there when she's killed people throughout and she's had like those tics that he's been seeing the entire time.
Yeah.
So it has like that kind of Inception ending, like
What's happening?
Does he know? I think he knows.
He knows.
Yeah.
Absolutely he knows. But at the same time, she raised him, right?
I don't think he's really gonna kill her because he loves her. I just think it's a way of saying that, like,
shields up.
Like, I know what you can do.
Yeah, and I know what you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Us too.
Back to cinematography. Another one of my favorite shots is in the final fight in the long hallway, and it's Red is like doing some crazy dance moves to fight and scissoring, and Adelaide's chopping wood, swinging.
From, like, catching
I know,
the side
right?
of the
I'm
head.
And it goes in between that with my favorite song from the soundtrack and them doing ballet.
Yeah.
Ballet,
and it's just beautiful. And it's in tune with the music, and they're like kind of doing similar moves where like the ballet girl will do a twist, but then Red will finish the twist, and it's like, ooh, I liked it.
It's also that
was my favorite part.
That's
of the
also
movie.
Beautiful symmetry.
It's a really clever way of establishing who is the original Adelaide, because Red is the one who's effortlessly, doing those moves, and tethered Adelaide is swinging,
chopping wood.
Granted, she's
Luke Skywalker style.
She's been through a lot, but but I also have to comment. I'm very impressed that in the underground they were able to get like 300 million gold scissors and make all those very nice red jumpsuits.
Yeah,
and match.
That is some organization.
That is very good organization for
props.
The lack of communication. And,
for not being able to talk.
And seemingly only semi being able to control yourself.
Yeah, because some of them couldn't really like walk.
Like some of them, I have lots of questions about the tethered, which I would love to ask Jordan Peele sometime. That I'm sure won't matter because
Maybe he'll watch this and be like, I should answer that question.
Maybe he'll be on the show. Hey, Jordan, come on our show, man.
Jordan,
come hang out.
I'd love to have you on
Mr. Peele.
Mr. Peele.
Should we
Oscar
start tweeting
award-winning Jordan Peele.
Yes.
You are
much deserved.
Absolutely.
I do think this movie will probably have a little bit of Oscar talk. I don't know how much.
Yeah.
Compared to Get Out, but I think after you
listen, if it gets nominated, I won't be mad.
No, it's got some great performance. I honestly think it could probably win for some performances.
Yeah.
But
agreed.
We'll see.
Yep. Let us know what you guys thought of all the craziness that happens in us down in the comments. Subscribe, like, all that fun stuff. We go live on Monday nights at 8 Central Time. So come watch us there. We usually talk about do some mini reviews of all the stuff we're doing, go through the news, review tons of fun stuff, just nerd out in general. It's a lot of fun. So come join us there, just on this YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Twitter, Instagram, @WhatTheFanboy. Check us out there. Is there anything else? I can't think of anything else.
Go see us.
If
you're watching this, hopefully you've seen it. If you haven't, you're a sick person, and you should definitely still go see it.
Then
go see it again if you
should
want.
Check out our other spoiler reviews and let us know what you thought of those.
Yeah.
Yes.
Check out all of our fun stuff. We got a lot of good stuff. In the meantime, we'll see you around.
See ya.